And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. What we're going to talk about today is my favorite topic, semen retention. But we're going to dive deeply into what it means in a relationship. Because you got to understand, my experience of semen retention, I didn't even know that it was called semen retention or nofap. I had no idea about that 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I was 18 years old. At that moment in time, I had decided who I was going to marry. I did not marry her, by the way. But I knew that I needed to get something done, and that was to go to Africa for 2 years and do my missionary labor to come back and then marry the girl of my dreams. And so I decided to become completely pure. I was heavily religiously involved. And at this moment in time, I practiced semen retention completely. From 18 to 21 years old. And I had like maybe 3 or 4 mishaps during that entire time frame. I was practicing semen retention, but I had no idea about it. I was just doing it because I thought it was a sin. And I was going to be prepared and ready to get married at age 21. Well, that girl dumped me, so that was fantastic. And then at 21 years old, I now was on a quest to find someone to marry. And in the next 2 years, basically, I dated a girl. Oh, guess what? She dumped me. I dated another girl. She dumped me. And then there was another girl, and I was so fired up about actually, getting married to this girl. And we were so close. And at that moment in time, my future wife came into my life. And then she basically convinced me because she was so beautiful. I forgot about the other girl. And I was like, let's see how this works out. We got married. I got married as a virgin. At this moment in time, I had now practiced semen retention for 5 flippin' years, guys. While you guys have been like masturbating those teenage years away, I was practicing semen retention. During my teenage years, I was wasting my sperm as well. But between 18 and 23, I was serious about it. I got married, and then we started having sex, and I completely wasted my power on a continual basis. All the time. Losing my power. Was that a good idea? No, I completely lost myself. Fortunately, though, within 2 or 3 years, I discovered semen retention. Because at this moment in time, she was pregnant with the second child, and we were having sex, and she wasn't really that into it. So I was like, I'm not going to belabor it more, so I'll just pull out. And I pulled out, and I still had an erection. And I was like, man, I feel good. Like, I feel powerful. Like, man, this is so much better than actually ejaculating while having sex. And this is where I started studying Coitus Intteruptus. And that's the title of this video. I'm going to explain Coitus Intteruptus and I'm going to explain Coitus Reservatus. This is when you're in a relationship, a sexual relationship, and I recommend it to be a long-term committed partner. There is no use for you to have sex with anyone who is not your long-term committed partner. Seriously, okay? All the things that can go wrong in those relationships that are short-lived and no strings attached, it's not worth it, guys, okay? Set your life up first and then find your long-term committed partners, and that's it, okay? So, what is Coitus Interruptus? Well, coitus stands for sex. That's fine, we all know that. Interruptus, obviously, is the interruption of sex, which basically means the withdrawal method or the pull-out method used as birth control in order to not put the semen inside the vagina to create a baby. Now, as you notice, she was pregnant already, so I couldn't impregnate her even more. So the term coitus interruptus really isn't quite correct. Steve Jobs, I mentioned him in another video the other day, and I mentioned that it was his wife that had written a biography of some sort. No, it wasn't. It was his ex-girlfriend who was explaining that at some point when they were together, he practiced coitus interruptus. But it wasn't because he didn't want to ejaculate in her, it was because he didn't want to ejaculate at all. He wanted to retain his sperm, retain his energies in order for him to use it in his work. And guess what? Aren't we grateful that he did? Exactly. So the point is, there is something else called Coitus Reservatus. Now, reservatus comes from the word reserve, which means to keep back, to save up, to retain. And then my two favorites, to protect and preserve. I like that one because you can use that in terms of protecting the woman, of course, so that she doesn't get pregnant, right? But the other aspect is protecting your seed, protecting your energy, protecting your life force. I'm taking you guys to a whole nother level right now. You guys are practicing semen retention right now to overcome porn addiction and recover from some of you having erectile dysfunction. But those are like puny problems, okay? I want you guys to see how this is a lifestyle. And for me, it's not just a lifestyle. For me, this is my life. I've come to the point now, I haven't been this into it before now. Once I actually had the chance to have so far 2.5 months away from my wife, and I'm probably gonna have another 2.5 months more, and I'm fired up outside my brain, like I always say. And the reason is because I have kept my seed. This is the first time in 10 years. I practiced it 15 years ago. Which was between 10 and 15 years ago, I practiced it. But then I got married and started ejaculating all over the place. And then I started learning about this, but I've continuously ejaculated once in a while, like once every week or once every other week. And I've never gotten to this point of almost 4 months. Okay, I'm at day 112 or something of no ejaculation. And it feels fantastic. You've got no idea. Just wait for it. Just work for it. There are 3 functions of the male reproductive system. And now I'm talking about the penis. There's 3 functions. The one is the urinary function. Exactly, the waste, okay? The waste, urinary function. The second function is the propagative function, which is the opportunity to create a child. Now, usually people will look at this and say, there are only 2 functions of the male reproductive system. No, there's 3. And the third one is the amative function. Amative in the sense of amor or amare, which means love. The third function is the amative function, which these are 3 completely distinct functions. And the third one, amative, only is realized when you do not ejaculate and when you practice Coitus Reservatus, which means that you retain your sperm and you only have your presence of your penis in the vagina and you have motions, but you do not have the final crisis, which ends up becoming the ejaculation with the point of no return. You don't want to get to that point. You want to keep it to presence and motions. That's who you are. You don't want a crisis in your life. You want to have power. You want to have presence. You want to have motion. Massive action. Do you understand? Now, you cannot do this without learning the arts of full ejaculation control. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that you should manage to last 10 minutes in bed or 12 minutes in bed, which would be more than the normal average male? Usually, they have between 4 to 6 minutes or whatever it is. It's really low. You don't want to be twice the power that they have than the average guy. You want to 10x, baby. You want to take it all the way. The only thing that's allowed, you want to come to the point where you have full on and off button, full ejaculation control, and the woman gets her pleasure completely until she is exhausted with the amounts of orgasms that she's had. Because you have learned the arts of the bedroom. This is a requisite for a life of long-term marital bliss and excitement. And 99% of guys don't have this, or 99.9. I want you to have this. You got to understand that we're creating a community of men of high value that will have the capacity to do anything that they want to do in life, and do it in an emotional stability manner, so that you can have full joy and happiness, no fear, worries, or anxiousness at any point in time. Because you've got power. Because you're a man. Because you retain your semen. There's power in it. The only reason why the bull is superior to the cow is because of his sperm. You need to retain that sperm. Why am I showing this video to you guys? It doesn't make any sense. I continuously tell you guys on the videos that set girls aside for a period of time. Okay, you don't need their problems right now. You've got enough with your own problems, and let's sort yourself out, shall we? And I completely reinforce what I have repeatedly said. Because you want to be there. What I just explained with Coitus Reservatus, that's what you want for your future. But you can't do that right now. Like, no, you can't practice that right now. While you're in a mess. While you don't have money. You don't, what am I going to eat next week? If I don't go to work, then I'm not going to have any money. You're not in the capacity to satisfy a woman sexually right now. And even if you were, it would create a burden for her that you are not capable of giving her everything else that she wants in her life. And then that burden affects the bedroom. And it affects your relationship. And then you're going to have issues and problems and even more problems. And you don't want to get into that yet. The time will come. First, 90 days practice of semen retention. That's number one. Number two is setting a financial goal to create something of value. That's not a job, but that's a business on the side. Eventually, once you sort your problems in your own life out, we can tap into the most powerful aspect of our lives, which is our sexual power in a relationship, in a long-term committed relationship. That's what I want for all of you guys. What I just described of having that kind of relationship with a woman, you're looking at it, you're hearing me, and you're saying, I could never have that. It's so far out of my reach. I don't know. I'm a premature ejaculator. I don't know how to do that. It's impossible. It's very possible. Just as it's possible for you to become a multi-millionaire, it's possible for everyone. It is possible, and it's actually easier to master the arts of the bedroom. But I want you to have it all. I want you to create massive abundance in your life. And we're going to have courses on ejaculation control. We're going to have courses on relationships and how to retain a woman. We're going to have courses on everything, guys. And remember, I'm a coach. You can be coached for $297 right now. It's a limited offer right now for the month of June. For $297, you can be coached by me on a monthly basis. For more details, hit me up with a comment and I'll comment back to you. And we'll set something up. I am fired up outside my brain about this. I love these topics, man. And I want you guys to have the joy and the happiness that I've got. Because I've got it. I hope you see it. This is me every day. I'm not sheltering anything. This is not a facade. I live this. And I want you to live it too. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you again tomorrow.